Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Nordic here. Welcome back to yet again another Tier Rank Tuesday, where we have a very special topic here for you guys that we are going to be ranking today. Today, we are going to be tier ranking every NHL team's starting goalie. So as you can tell, we have every single starting goalie here in the NHL, all 32. There may be a few that you're like, I don't really know if he's the starter, Nordic, like maybe Logan Thompson or even Joseph Woll or Tristan Jarry. A lot of these, I went with their projected starter for this season, not really basing it off of right now, because obviously Thatcher Demko is injured and Kevin Lankinen's their starter, but I'm still rolling with Demko. For the guys who maybe run on like a tandem like Thompson and Lindgren, I went with the goalie who's played more games and has better numbers, and I think Thompson's the one who's looked better. For other guys, it may really depend, like Tristan Jarry obviously has not been the starter this season, missed a lot of time, but I think that the last couple of seasons he has been their starter. So that should be everything I need to explain. The tier lists or the tier levels are the same as they were in the defenseman video. Let's just get straight into it. Starting off with Jacob Markstrom of the New Jersey Devils. Markstrom so far this season with the team, I actually have stats pulled up. He has an 8-5-1 record, a 2.58 goals against, and a .907 save percentage. I think Markstrom is borderline elite, but he's at the top of very good, at least as of right now. Again, that may change when I go through the rest of this list. But I think that he is a borderline elite goalie. Just the last couple of seasons, he has not put up elite numbers for me to put him in that column. And I'm just going to tell you guys right now, there are going to be a lot more elite goalies in this column than there was last in the defenseman tier list. But overall, I think I'm going to put Markstrom in very good. He's still, I would say, borderline top 10 goalie, maybe just outside of that. But I would say right now he is in the very good column for sure. Next up then, Jordan Binnington of the St. Louis Blues. Binnington so far this season is 5-7-1, has a 3.2 goals against and a .887 save percentage. It has been a pretty rough start to the year for Jordan Binnington and the St. Louis Blues as a whole. Now, ever since that cup-winning season, Binnington just seems to be declining. He had a good year in 2019-20. His save percentage just keeps gradually going down until last season, where he actually put up some decent numbers last year. But this year seems like he's fallen back down to earth. Not going to lie to you guys, I'm thinking about putting Binnington right here. I'm thinking about putting him in above average. I don't think that he's bad enough to be, like your average starting goalie or even like below average. But I think that he's probably above average as of right now. I may change that when I get to the end or the middle of this list. But right now I'm going to put Binnington in above average. Next up, Frederik Andersen of the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, this is one of those ones where, he's been injured a lot the last couple of seasons, but I would profile him as their starter. Andersen is a 3-1 record, 1.48 goals against, and a .941 save percentage. I'm going to put him in good. I think Andersen's always been a good starting goalie. Again, there's going to be people who are like, come on, Kochekov's their starting guy, but the way I see it, he's been their projected starter. Just because he gets hurt does not mean you should put blame on him because of that. Excuse me. And I think that Andersen has put up solid numbers throughout his entire career. Now, he's not as good as he was at the start of his career with the Maple Leafs. Ever since then, it's been a little bit on and off with injuries and such. But I think that Andersen right now is a good goalie for sure. All right, Mackenzie Blackwood of the San Jose Sharks is up next. This guy has been their starter for the last couple of seasons. Before that, with the Devils, was not necessarily great, but this year with the San Jose Sharks, he's actually 4-5-3, which is not bad considering the fact that the Sharks are one of the worst teams in the league. 3.07 goals against and a .911 save percentage. Not gonna lie, guys, I might put him in here. I think for what he deals with, he had just one. He was .01 below a 900 save percentage last season on the worst team in the NHL. At least as of right now, I'm putting him in good. To be honest, I think by the end of this, I might put him in above average or like the bottom of good. But I think that right now, Blackwood should be profiled as a good starting goaltender, for sure. I think with what he's dealt with in San Jose, you got to give him some credit where it's due. Next up, Logan Thompson of the Washington Capitals. Thompson is not lost in regulation this year. He is 8-0-1, has a 2.63 goals against and a .913 save percentage. He has been awesome. His entire career, he's put up pretty good metrics, and he's only played one full season, and that was last year. And apart from that, in 22-23, he did split some time. But overall, throughout his 112-game career, he has put up a solid .912. I think he's going in good. I think he is a good goalie right now. I think you can maybe argue him in very good with how he's playing, but I think when you look at his overall career metrics and this season, he has to go in good. He has been a good goalie through his whole career so far. Cam Talbot of the Detroit Red Wings. I would say Talbot's put up some good numbers. He has a 5-3-2 record this year, a 2.67 goals against, and a .920 save percentage. Apart from a just outlier year in Ottawa, he's actually had a pretty good save percentage throughout a lot of his tenure with the Wild and the Flames and the Kings as well. I would put Talbot in good too. I think Talbot is still a good goalie. Again, you can maybe argue that he's played in front of some good blue lines in some of those years, apart from the Ottawa year. But I would say that right now, he is deserving of being in that good goalie column for me. Some of you guys may disagree, but that's where I'm going to roll with Cam Talbot. Is he better than Logan Thompson, though, is the question. Well, he has played longer than Thompson, so I don't know. I think we're going to put Talbot over him. Again, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Okay, here's a controversial one. Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Bruins. So, Swayman's interesting. So far this season, you're going to look at his numbers and say, oh, he should not be in where I'm probably going to put him here. He is 5-7-2 for a 3.47 and a .884 at the time of recording. I may even need to cut this halfway through because there's a very good chance that Jim Montgomery is going to get fired within the next 24 hours here. So, I might be speaking out of my butt there, but it's a big rumor right now that is being reported by some. So, when you look at Swayman's career numbers, he has put up a consistent .915 throughout all 4 seasons he's played prior to this one. And I do want to put an asterisk to that because one of those seasons was a 10-game season, and the other 2 were the ones who he played more than 40 games. He's going to be controversial because people are going to look at recency bias and be like, oh, he's not in this column. At least as of right now, I'm putting him in elite. At least as of right now, that's where I think he should go. Actually, no. I think I need to put this in a better perspective because I think there's definitely more elite goalies than there is defensemen, because I'm thinking about to the defensive men tier list, but I think right now you have to put Swayman in at least very good. I think he's a very good goalie with the numbers he's put up. I just don't know if he's elite. He's probably borderline elite with these numbers. There are going to be some people who really don't like that, but that's what I'm going to roll with for now. Again, I may make some changes at the end of this, so just stay tuned to the end or skip to the end, however you want to just, run this. Next up, Darcy Keumper of the Los Angeles Kings. So far this year, Kemper's 4-2-3, has a .903 save percentage, 2.65 goals against. Keumper, before the 2 seasons with Washington, I feel like has been pretty consistent throughout his career. He's put up a consistent .900. I'm going to put him in good. There are going to be people who don't like that, but I think that Keumper is a good goalie. You look at his overall career numbers. Yes, he may have played behind some very good blue lines in prior seasons before that, but he's actually bounced around the league a lot before then. I still think that he is a good goalie when you look at his metrics right now. So I'm going to roll with good for Darcy Keumper. Next up, Filip Gustavsson of the Minnesota Wild. Gustafsson's put up some really good numbers this season with the Wild. 13 games played, 8-3-2, a 2.08 goals against, and a .927 save percentage. I think I think I'm focused on good as well. Again, this is where your mass majority of your goalies are going to go. I think Gustavsson should be in good. I think he's played pretty well this year in terms of, what we've seen. There's been a few outlier years, like his first season where he played only 9 games with the Senators, he looked really good. Then his second year where he played a little bit more, kind of struggled. Came to Minnesota, had a really good second half. Struggled last year, but got better in the second half. And this year so far in the first half is a .927. He's put up, he's had a solid career so far, but he's one of those goalies where it's like pretty early on in his career where we can really tell where he's at. But at least as of right now, I think he's good. I think he's in a good column there when it comes to goalies. So I'm going to put Gustavsson in that for sure. Next up, Sam Montembeault. Montembeault actually had a shutout last night against Edmonton. I know that because one of my producers decided to tell me that I should put him in elite. In 15 games so far this year, he has a 6-8-1 record, has a 2.85 goals against and a .906 save percentage. So far, I'm going to say this, with Montreal, for a team that has been bad since he's came to them, I think he's put up good numbers. Even in the season where Montreal was really bad, I think that he was good. It's just a matter of, I think that on a bad team, putting up above a .900 for a team that has been bottom 5 in the league every year you've been with them, I think that is a lot they need to give a lot of credit for. So I think he's a good goalie. I think right now he's good. I don't know necessarily if I put him in, very good or at the top of good, but I think right now he's still a good goalie by all means. Okay, we're going to have a very big spiel of elite goalies here. These are probably 4 goalies that I'm going to put an elite in a row. So, we'll start up with Saros. Soros, so far this season, even on a weak Nashville Predators team, has a 5-8-2 record, a 2.55 goals against, and a .914 save percentage. I'm rolling an elite. As of right now, he is elite. He is in my elite column. That's what I'm going to say. I think that Soros, you look at his entire career, he hasn't had one season apart from, not even one season. He hasn't had one season where he's been below a .910 except for one, and that was last year. So I think that is incredibly impressive. And even last year, too, the team was good. That's crazy to think. So you got to put Soros in elite as of right now. I just think that you look at elite goalies around the league, I think Soros is in that conversation. Next up, Ilya Sorokin of the New York Islanders. Sorokin so far this year is 4-4-3, a 2.70 and a .913. Over his entire career, he's put up great numbers. He's elite. He's an elite goalie by far. Without a doubt for me, he is elite. So you may disagree with that, but from what I've seen on such a mediocre Islanders team, even the year they missed the playoffs, that was Sorokin's arguably best season. So that is wild to think, and I think that he doesn't get enough credit for what he deals with there with the Islanders. So I'm putting him in elite as of right now. Again, I may change the order. I may put him above Soros later on, but right now I think he's in the elite column. Again, I might change. I'm definitely going to change the order a lot of times in this video, but just get ready for that. And again, the mesh of good guys too are kind of, they're undecided right now. Igor Shesterkin is the best. He is in the best column for me. Believe it or not, though, I'm actually going to put one more goalie in that best column, but we're going to get to him in a second. You may know who he is. But Shesterkin so far, even through this season, has a 7-4-1 record, a 2.78 goals against, and a .914. Now, his save percentage numbers and overall numbers may not be as impressive as some of the other guys on this list, but his playoff metrics are what makes him the best, in my opinion. I think that he has carried the Rangers through the last, I would say, 3 playoff runs they've been on. Even you could exclude 2023, but going to the conference finals in 2024, going to the conference finals in 2022, those 2 years were carried by Shesterkin. Carried. So he needs a lot more credit than he's getting, so I'm putting him in the best of the best right now. Next up, Linus Ullmark of the Ottawa Senators. Ullmark so far this year has a 4.41, a 2.77, and a .890. Ullmark's an elite. Ullmark's an elite. You may come at me and say, oh, Swayman should be an elite too then. No, Ullmark has been in the league longer, has overall better pedigree, was even good with an awful Buffalo Sabres team. So, again, he is in my elite column, and it's really not close between him and Swayman. I think Ullmark is by far the better goalie. You may disagree. If we're talking about just last season, then sure, probably Swayman may have been better than Ullmark, but because Swayman played more games than Ullmark. I think when you look in terms of overall career, and even right now, I think Ullmark is probably better than Swayman. And you might disagree with that. You can let me know in the comments down below. All right, Samuel Ersson of the Philadelphia Flyers, my favorite team. Ersson's in his third season so far this year, 5.2-2, a 2.70, and a .902. Listen, there are going to be people who say to me, Nordic, I think he's a good goalie. I'm sorry. I can't, not yet. I can't put Ersson anywhere in that column just yet. I might even move Binnington down now that I look at it. I can't. I have to look in terms of how he's been through his career. He's only played one full season, and I think that's fair to put him in average. Now, again, I may get into the other goalies on this list, and I know I'm going to get there, and I might actually move him here. But right now, he's average for me. He's an average starter. He hasn't proved it to me that he's better than that. And for Tristan Jarry, yes, overall in his entire career, he's had solid numbers, but you can tell the decline has been happening for a while. I would say ever since 2019-20, the decline has gradually gone down. I think he's an average too. You may not like that. I think he's an average too. Actually, I think I'm going to put Ersson in above average. No, I'll put him in average for now. I might change my mind later on in this video. But Jarry, the decline is obvious. He's declining. You look at his numbers. His save percentage keeps going down. 21-22, .919. 22-23, .909. 23-24, .903. In 2024-25, he's 1-2, has a 5.36 and a .847. A lot of runway to go into the season, but right now, he's average. So this is the halfway mark. I'm going to pause and get up all my stats for the second half, but right now, this is what I'm rolling with for the first half of this tier list. All right, moving on to the second half, guys. I actually made a change. So you're going to see that Anthony Stolarz is here in replacement of Joseph Woll. I can't take Woll out of this, so I just replaced him with Stolarz. I think right now he is the starter, even though Woll has played some games back, but I think you got to give it to Stolarz, at least as of right now. Let's move on with Joey Daccord of the Seattle Kraken. Daccord is a big example of some of the guys on this list, like Ersson, Gustavsson, etc., who have not played a lot in the NHL, but did have their first breakthrough in the last few seasons. So, Daccord, in 12 games played, is 8-3-1, has a 2.51 goals against, has a .918 save percentage. Last season, though, with a very bad Kraken team, he had a .916. Before then, he played I think this is 19 games in 4 seasons. So it took him a while to kind of get adjusted and get breakthrough into the NHL. He finally did so last year. But Daccord right now, I think, is a good goalie. I think you got to look at overall numbers. I think Daccord is still a good goalie. I think that he's put up good numbers in his time where he really has a sample size. So I think right now you have to put him in good. I think that's fair for somebody like him. Next up, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Kind of similar to Daccord. He had a 6-4-1 record so far this year, a 2.83 and a .903. Last year was really kind of his breakout season, though. Had a .910 in 54 games played with a not-so-good Sabres team. I think it's fair. I don't know. I'm going to put him... No, I don't think that's fair. Is he better than Blackwood? I would say yes. Is he better than Keumper? I think right now he is. I think right now he's a good. I might change that though, because you look at his overall numbers. I don't know if I can get behind that. But yeah, we'll see. I think Luukkonen is one of those ones with me where I'm like balancing back and forth between good and above average. I think he should be in good, but towards the bottom of good. I don't think he's as good as Daccord, even though they both signed kind of identical deals. Okay, next up we have an interesting one. Andrei Vasilevskiy of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He has a 8-5-1 record with a 2.15 goals against and a .920 save percentage. He's going an elite. He's still elite for me. I listen. You can look at his entire career. You can look at just this season. You can look at the last 3 seasons. He's put up incredible numbers. He's put up awesome numbers. He has not had a below 910 apart from last season. So, overall, I think Vazzy is still elite. People won't like that. There are going to be people who think Swayman's better. When we're looking at entire career and right now, maybe. I don't know. I think it's definitely close between Swayman and Vazzy. Oh man. I don't want to be pondering on this all the time. I should really make a tier list before and then explain my thoughts afterwards. But I think it's better if I do this on the fly. I think he's still elite. I think he still is elite. There are going to be some people who don't like that, but I think that Vasilevskiy, at least as of now, is still an elite goalie, in my opinion. Next up, then, Anthony Stolarz of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Stolarz has been a backup goalie for a very long time, but finally got the opportunity to kind of be a starter with Joseph Woll's injury, and he's done well. 7-3-2, a 2.18 goals against, and a .927 save percentage. Yeah, I think it's fair to put him in good. I think he's towards the bottom of... No, actually, I'm going to put him above average. I think that he is playing good right now. He is playing good. But when you look in terms of an entire career and other goalies on this list, he really isn't supposed to be a starter, to be honest. He might even be below Binnington. He's not supposed to be a starting goalie. He is playing well, but he's not by really any means of the imagination their starting goalie. So you may disagree with that on my opinion, but I think when you look at Stolarz right now, I think that above average, I think it's fine for them, and people won't like that. All right, next up, Thatcher Demko of the Vancouver Canucks. So Demko is a little bit interesting because he has not played at all this year, but again, I'm not going to put Kevin Lankinen on this list just because Demko's injured. Demko, looking at his overall metrics, he is in elite as well. I would put him probably right here, to be honest. I think Demko, throughout his entire career, ever since coming in, has put up good numbers, and I think that he's earned that starting role, and I think that he is in that elite column for sure. Might be below Ullmark, but, that elite column is used wisely for sure. Next up, Adin Hill of the Vegas Golden Knights. Adin Hill so far this season actually has not been really that great. 8-3-1, a 3.16, and a .885. I think right now Adin Hill is in good. I think right now he's a good goalie. I would say that in terms of his entire career playing with the Coyotes and even playing with the Sharks when he did, he's put up some good, solid performances and has had good numbers, especially in that cup run with the Golden Knights. So I would put him right now in good. Again, the good is where the big bulk of guys go. So if you're wondering why are so many guys in good, that's where a lot of them go, to be honest with you. Next up, the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuyck. He's going up here. I think these two, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of leaning Hellebuyck sometimes. I'm really day-to-day with this right now. I think I lean Shesterkin overall, but Hellebuyck has shown he is the best regular season goalie. And people won't like that. This year with the Jets, he's 12-2, a 2.14 goals against, and a .926 save percentage. I think that he has had incredible numbers the last couple of seasons, will likely win his second Vezina this season, or back-to-back Vezinas, and his second in the last 2 years. So this season, and I think that him and Shesterkin I think it's fine to put them in the same column. Again, that's where I stand with that. And I think that should be without an explanation. Now we move on to the better Connor. Kidding. Connor Ingram of the Utah Hockey Club. Ingram so far this year is a .871 and has a 6-4-3 record. Has not been that great. I'm going to put him right now in. I'm going to put him in average. I think Ingram, I thought last year maybe would be the starting guy, but at least as of right now, he has not proven to me that he is better than just an average goalie, to be honest with you guys. So right now, I think I'm going to roll with Ingram and average. I might move Ersson up to above average, though, because I think that you look at his stats, you may not look at how he's actually played. I think he's actually had some pretty good games, and actually, I'm going to do that right now. I think with Ersson, it's better for me because I'm a Flyers fan, and people won't like that, but with Ersson, I watch the games and I see how he plays. His numbers may not be that good, but the Flyers also in front of him may not be that good either. So that's what I'm going to defend with there, with putting him in above average, but he's at the bottom of above average. I think the average guys right now are in a fine spot. Okay, we have an interesting one here. Dustin Wolf, of the Calgary Flames. He's in his I would say first full season, he's 6-2-1, a 2.53 and a .921. The year before that, played 17 games at a .893. We know what Wolf is going to be, but right now, he's at the bottom of good for me. I can't put him any higher than that. We know Dustin Wolf is going to be really good, but right now, I can't justify putting him anywhere else besides that. I hate to break it to you guys. I can't. I just can't. So I will say that I will put Wolf in good at the bottom of good, but it's too early to really move him anywhere else besides that. Peter Mrazek of the Chicago Blackhawks so far this season, 5-8-0, put up a .906. Last year, put up a .908. I think he's above average. I think he's probably here and above average. I don't think he's in the good column because the good is the majority of the league. But I would say that right now, I think that he is a pretty good above average goalie, but not like highly in the good column. But you could argue him over somebody like maybe Dustin Wolf because of the career he's had. But right now, I think above average for him is fair. Okay, we got two straight average goalies here. I'm just going to put both of them in average because I'm not a big fan of either of these guys. Elvis Merzlikins and Alex Georgiev. So we'll start off with Georgiev first. Georgiev, 4-5-0, 3.56, .863 so far this year. Merzlikins actually isn't that terrible. 4-5-1, a 2.72 and a .905. Just the last few seasons, I have not seen what I've seen from Merzlikins and Georgiev. I think Georgiev this year has been a bigger highlight of not being that great. We've been saying this for a while that he should not be their starting goalie. So I think that right now, I think putting both of them in average is fair. I think people will agree with that. You may even argue that they're below average. I think I may need to find a better way to do these tier lists, to be honest. Okay, next up then, Jake Oettinger of the Dallas Stars. Oettinger so far this year has a 9-3-0 record, a 2.27 goals against, and a .917 save percentage. I think that looking at Oettinger, I think he's probably an elite as well. Again, oh my God, I really got to figure out how to do this better. Actually, hang on a second. People won't like this, but I think him and Swayman are kind of at the same level. Him and Swayman are fighting at that same level. I don't know if I would call Oettinger necessarily elite just yet. I think he's had pretty good seasons in his career so far. There are going to be a lot of people who don't like that, but I think him in very good when we're looking in terms of the goalies that are in elite. I think they both have to be in very good, at least as of right now. Okay, Stuart Skinner up next. Skinner right now has a record of 5-5-2, a 3.28 and a .887. I think Skinner, I think he's right here. I think he's right in the middle. I don't know. Skinner for me is a little bit interesting because he's had some good numbers over his career, but just watching some of these games, it's brutal watching him sometimes. He's very on and off, very inconsistent. He's not like above average bad or average bad, but I would say he's in the middle of good. I just think right now, like, he's not, I don't know. He's really touch and go with me. There are going to be some people who are like, oh, he's down here, but right now I'm going to put him in good for this current stage in time. Next up then, Sergei Bobrovsky of the Florida Panthers. He is 9-3-1 this season, a 2.89 goals against, and a .897 save percentage. Hear me out. Right now, I think he's right here. I think he's right here in that elite column. I think that he is a super elite goalie. You look at his numbers, again, he's had great statistics throughout his entire career, even though this year's been a little bit slower for him when it comes to like the save percentage and goals against. But looking at overall career, he has been very good for the Florida Panthers and has carried them in the playoffs. I think he has to be in the elite column for sure. Okay, last goalie here, even though it shows Joseph Woll. We have Lukas Dostal. Now, Dostal is going to be a massively controversial one here. Massively controversial. From what I have seen, he is a borderline, he is a top 15 goalie in the NHL. So, you have Shesterkin and Hellebuyck, 1 and 2 for me. You have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for me. 10, 11, and then 12, and then I think it might go Dostal again at 13. Again, that is not like a top 10 logistics, but you look at how Dostal's played on an absolutely awful Anaheim Ducks team these last couple of seasons. He's got to be at least in good. And I think he might even make it into the very good column at some point. So, right now, I am putting Dostal in good. Okay, so I made a few corrections from where I had guys on my last list. I actually moved Oettinger up to elite. I moved Vasileski down to very good. I'm still really balancing on putting Swayman up here, but I'm not 100% sure just yet. I know that people are going to disagree with Vazzy as of right now, but when I look currently, I would say all of these goalies are better than him. I still think he's very good, but he's not at the elite stature that he was earlier in his career, and that may be because other teams, the team has gotten worse over the years, so that may not be his fault, but still. I made a few changes to good. I moved Skinner down a little bit more. I moved Wolf up 1. This actually stays the same. But apart from that, that's what I'm rolling with. I might disagree with this next week. Again, these like kind of things are like their tier list where I could change them next week or tomorrow or in an hour just by staring at them. And I know there are going to be people who look at this when the video comes up and really disagree. But what I'm going to roll with right now is what I have. So this is my 2024-25 starting goalie tier list. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and what you guys thought of this tier list Tuesday or tier rank Tuesday video. I gotta say it right at least. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed, comment down below what you guys thought on this video, what you thought about my rankings. Subscribe down below if you are new. We're getting closer and closer to 3,000. We're almost 50 subscribers away, which is unbelievable to think. But regardless, that'll do it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.